Hello and welcome to the Hofcast, episode 34. We are joined this week by Brady Schlebel, and he's the new man in charge at the Classic in the Country. So he's going to stay with us this week for most of the episode and give us some information on the Classic. Brady, you live in Texas now instead of Amish country. How has that been for you? First of all, what led you to Texas? And how has that transition gone for you?
Yeah, well, I mean, I can definitely tell you it's a lot warmer down here. Usually, right now it's about 35, 40 degrees, but this week it was about 70. So that's definitely nice. And that was kind of one of the reasons I wanted to.
Now it's
Um,
about
but
35.
but finished up at Ohio State, and me and my roommate just kind of wanted to try something new, get away. So we visited Austin and Phoenix, and liked both of them, and it just ended up working out to come down here to Texas. But still managed to get back to Holmes County a lot. I was home for Thanksgiving and Christmas, New Year's, but back for the Classic this weekend. So that's going to be exciting, and hopefully the weather kind of stays away. That's always been kind of a hit or miss with the Classic. Some years it's a big storm. So knock on wood, it looks like we're going to have good weather this year, and I'm excited to get back after it. No restrictions on fans, nothing like that. So we're ready to go this year.
Texas, you said it is today. It's kind of cold. It's kind of you come back to Ohio on Thursday. Is it trying to like buffer you? Because right now I think it's like 19 degrees today. So I
I
think
know
Texas is trying to help you out.
I know. So yeah, that might help kind of get back into the Ohio swing of things. So that'll be nice, definitely. But yeah, you never know with Ohio weather. It could be 50 when I walk off the plane, or it could be 0 in a blizzard. So
That's true. You mentioned there's no restrictions on fans at all. We all know that Holmes County is kind of the more of the less restrictive county in Ohio with all this stuff. There's no like mask mandates. There's fans are free to do whatever they like this weekend.
yeah, we're good to go. The Holmes County Health Board, whatever, gave us the all clear. It's going to be we expect pretty packed crowds. We've got all the best teams in Ohio, and the great thing about it is that the teams that are coming bring a great atmosphere and bring great fans, and that's always something that Tom and my dad and Kuzi were big on from the start, is creating an atmosphere that girls don't normally get during the season. They might have big games here and there, but they don't really get to see big crowds and great atmospheres until regionals or the state tournaments. So to be able to give that for 25 games is really something I've always found special about the Classic, and kind of do things a little bit differently. We have an entertainment team stuff in between quarters and halftime. So that obviously adds to it. And then the awesome volunteers and the awesome food as well.
Now, you obviously way back in the day weren't involved with the Classic like you are now, but you've been around since day one. What do you remember from running around the Classic as a 8-year-old or a 6-year-old, or
Yeah, so
what do you
this is
remember
year
from that part of it?
19. I'm 24 now. I would have been about 5, I believe. And for some reason, I have like one memory of just like running around in the lobby and there being like t-shirts for sale, and me not really understanding what was going on. I remember like kind of asking my parents, like, what is this? Like, why is everyone at Highland this week? And, but I didn't know quite what it meant to the people or the community until I got a little older and the event got a little bit bigger. So it's been definitely cool to see that come up. And my dad always talks about how it started, I think, in Tom's basement. They had like 4 or 5 guys get together and dreamed up the Classic, and then kind of put it into place. So it's cool to see where it's come from.
I don't know if he was in the infamous basement meeting or not, but we're gonna have Paul Waggerly on later, and he
Sure.
was certainly one of the guys that kind of got the ball rolling when he was coaching at Hoover. what's it like now to kind of, I mean, you're certainly not doing this by yourself, but you are in a position to make a lot of decisions and kind of keep things moving in the right direction. What's that been like so far for you?
For sure, and I mean, a lot of it too has kind of already been put into place. Definitely haven't had to kind of ask, like, beg teams to come. People want to come.
Yeah.
People want to be a part of the experience. So it was more of, trying to get the right teams together in the right games and creating that atmosphere, like I was saying. But it's been cool, especially to see and work with my dad and Kuzi and some of the people behind the scenes that, growing up, I always got to kind of see it and knew they were hard workers, but to actually kind of be in there with them and putting everything together, putting the pieces into place has really been cool to see how hard they work. And then also random people throughout the community that, every year they're just, hey, it's hard to have two people doing the stats for 25 straight games. That's not really a job that people love doing. Or ticket taking, the cleanup crew after the last game at 9:30 at night that cleans for 2 hours. So kind of the people that always come back every year and help out with that is huge. That that's already in place.
And even worse, I think, is when you have snow, the people that have to get there at 4 a.m. to clear snow and ice. That
Yeah.
certainly is not a job that anybody necessarily wants, but somebody has to do it.
Exactly. And I think it was two maybe 3 years ago that there was a massive storm on, like, Friday night. And
Yeah.
I was around in the Reese Center that Friday night while, my dad, Kuzi, and everyone was scrambling trying to put teams together, who's able to come, who's not able to come. So I feel like the fact that, they've already gone through that and I kind of got to see that, is that's about the worst that it could possibly be. So the fact that they were able to make it out of there, I feel like it's pretty cool.
Now, are you guys expecting, kind of on the same topic of the weather causing problems? Uh, Hopefully, fingers crossed, the weather doesn't cause any problems this year. But one of the bigger concerns might be, uh, you know, teams being shut down for COVID. I mean,
Mhm.
is that something that you guys are prepared for and can easily transition, or are we just kind of hoping things stay
Out of
calm?
luck, yeah. No, we've definitely got a list already built up of teams that are willing to fill in. Had a couple teams reach out, and a couple teams that you've also thrown in the mix as well. That people want a great atmosphere. They want great games, and a lot of times too, when you have those teams that are really good in their region, but they might not get a lot of good competition, that they want to come to this and play against other great teams that they don't normally get to play. So there's definitely teams that are in the waiting that we would definitely call on if something like that happens. So hoping for safety, hoping everything goes well and teams are safe in traveling to the Classic and whatnot. But yeah, for sure, there's definitely some backup plans.
You mentioned that a lot of the stuff will be the same. The entertainment, we know there's always going to be great food there.
Hmm.
Over the years, what are some of those things that people, other than basketball, obviously basketball is the number one priority, but what are some of those other things outside of basketball that people love to come to the Classic for, and they should still expect that to be there this weekend?
For sure, yeah, and I think the number one thing that's kind of helped elevate this event is the entertainment team. Now I got to be around that a little bit growing up, and obviously I didn't quite understand the impact when I was young. But the entertainment team that we have this year, I think, is going to be one of the best ever's. Our two main leaders of it is Michaela Waterman, who played at Kettering Fairmont, played at
Cool.
the Classic, and then Ohio
Yeah.
State, and then Carly Santora, who played at Bellevue at the Classic, and then Bowling Green and Ohio State as well.
Yeah.
So we've got some sweet people leading the entertainment team. They're bringing a lot of new ideas to it as well. So we'll definitely have some good stuff going on there. And so creating that atmosphere halftime in between games is definitely cool. But then aside of that, it's the volunteers, and that's how it's been since day one. Is the community stepping up and really putting on a great event because of the community's values and what people like. And I don't think you could do this event anywhere. And it says a lot about the community to be able, to have their Dutchman's bring in food and be able to have awesome people in the concession stand making the noodles and stuff like that. So it's something cool. It's different. And for a lot of people, it's, you don't always get treated the best when you go to events. So that's the main thing that's kind of always been there.
It's kind of cool. If I remember right, her name was Esther that used to do the entertainment. She was outstanding.
Yeah.
But it is kind of cool to have some kids that have played in the event now coming back to give back and have fun with everybody. That's something I'm just now finding out. That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Esther was awesome. She kind of made the entertainment team what it was and has always been the head of that. But she's kind of moving on and excited to get some fresh blood in there. She was actually pretty pivotal in kind of helping us get the entertainment team ready for this year and planning, strategizing, stuff like that. So she's still been involved in helping me kind of make sure everything's where it needs to be. But definitely excited for that. Got some other Highland kids on the entertainment team, and it should be fun. It should really be exciting. Some new games too, so I'm excited for that.
Here's 3 questions I have. Are we still going to get the milking cow, number 1?
Yes, that will be there every day.
Also, now we get it every day instead of just once a weekend.
Yep. Yeah, that's going to be everyday thing. Someone donates that. I forget who it is, but we'll announce it at the Classic, obviously announce the sponsorship, but someone donates that. So we want to try to use it every day, and people love that. You get a chance to see a cow being milked at halftime of a basketball game. So that's pretty cool.
That is pretty sweet. That's a huge upgrade from once out of 3 days now to once every day. How about why can't I think of the name? The square dance.
The Cotton Eye Joe.
Cotton Eye Joe come back?
It's definitely going to have to come out at least once, for sure.
I don't think we did it last year. I think maybe because of too many COVID precautions, but
true. Yeah.
I'd love to have Cotton Eye Joe back. And
you have to. It's kind of a staple that as the Classic got bigger, so did the Cotton Eye Joe.
Oh yeah, for sure. And how about the Highland student section? They've always had some classic moves and celebrations, some that I will never forget. Is the Highland student section going to be out and bringing us some more content this weekend?
Yeah, I'm sure they'll be out in full force. So we've got kind of the head of the Highland student section, Carter, on the entertainment team. So he's going to be there all weekend as well. But yeah, the student section's always been fun. And even last year with COVID and everything, I still remember there being an awesome student section for the girls. So, and, I've had a chance to be a part of some of those fun student sections at the Classic. And that's always one of the things that my dad, like first thing when we got home at night, said, Brady, man, that was awesome having, the student section, creating that kind of atmosphere. And I mean, quickly, my favorite memory from that is after halftime, we scored the first bucket at halftime, and we all ran outside out the door, took our black shirts off, had white shirts on underneath, and then came in the lobby. So that was pretty cool.
I was literally just going to say the 2 things I remember the most is that one where they were dressed in one color. They ran out the building, came back around the other side, and they were dressed in another color. That will never die. That would be all the best. And then they had a tennis match.
Oh yeah.
They had like 6 different people involved in it. Some people were the net. I think maybe somebody was even actually the ball. I can't remember, but it was really cool.
Everyone just yelling and grinding. I think we did like baseball too. There was a couple different games, once, and it's kind of like the same thing with creating an event like the Classic is once the creative juices get flowing a little bit, you see a little bit of success and something that goes really well. And then everyone else starts to chip in with cool ideas, great ideas. And so, yeah, definitely. That was awesome.
Well, you tell Carter that I'm calling him out, and I
will.
I want some great new content that we've never seen anywhere.
I'm sure.
But we're going to get back to some classic stuff, but we have Margaretta's coach, Eric Kokendorfer, coming up with us. So Brady,
Did you say that right?
I hope I said it right because he's a big dude. He could probably take my head right off my shoulders. But don't be shy, Brave. If you got a question, jump right in there. Coach,
Hey, Rich, how you doing, my friend?
Did
Hey, Brady, how you doing?
Did I
Good, Coach? How you doing?
We're doing well. We're doing well here in sunny Castello, Ohio. You know.
Coach, you guys are playing 2 games this weekend at the Classic. You've been there for multiple years now, and it seems like you guys always bring a great crowd, always bring energy, and you guys are really grateful to be there. What is the experience like for you guys? Just being able to be in an event like this and coming to represent the green and white.
It's such an incredible experience. I remember before the first time we came down, and actually we were at a late notice, played Highland, and a kind of a late notice a few years ago. It was something that was always a goal of our girls. Our girls would come out to the Classic each and every year before we ever even went there. So they knew all about it. And we'd get 10 or 11 girls always just going to watch it. So to be able to have the ability to play at such a great event in front of so many fans, in front of college coaches, it's such a well put together event. We're very blessed to be able to be invited, very humble to be able to come out and represent our community year in and year out. So it's absolutely our favorite time of the year. It's obviously great competition for basketball wise, but it's even better for culture, bonding, just watching a lot of great basketball, man. I mean, come on, any basketball junkie like we are, man, we love that stuff, man. You can't get us out of the gym.
That's right. I remember that Highland game. If I remember correctly, you guys were up at halftime, and you really gave the Hawks a scare that day.
Yeah, we actually outscored them 3 out of the 4 quarters, but that third quarter really got us pretty good, man. And I'll never forget we had a sophomore point guard that game, and I never saw a deer in headlights from my point guard until that game when Highland brought that pressure. And that was a heck of a game. And I remember the mullet girl. We were one of the first ones to face guard her just because how outstanding of a shooter she was. But yeah, it was a great game. Fell a little short there, but I think we gained a little bit of respect down there at the Classic, and we're very blessed to have been invited each year since.
I was gonna say, and I think this is probably pretty accurate, but it might not be. I think that game kind of put you guys on the map, where people were like, who the heck is this team? And you didn't necessarily, you're not an imposing squad. You weren't then and you're not now, but you just got after it. And that game really started turning some heads. And from then on, I mean, everybody knows who Margaretta is now. Is that accurate or
yeah, absolutely. We have a rich tradition over here at Margaretta, but the last 10 years before we went to Highland, we're about 500. So kind of lost a little bit of the exposure that we once had. But really coming there and being able to go up there kind of last minute. I've always said we'll play anybody anytime, anywhere, any place. Hopefully we win when we go there. But we were able to go out there. We competed. We played hard. I think we gained a lot of respect. And you're absolutely right. That event really put us on the map. Been ranked there in the state a few times. Made it to the regionals a few times, and we still got some unfinished business. But absolutely, if you're gonna get to that next level, you got to play at events and teams like we do at that Classic in the country, man.
I remember that game. That was an awesome game. That was kind of one of the things that I took away from it was I do remember it being the first game that Bryn was face guarded all year. No one had kind of done that because there was a Morgan great point guard and Zoe great big, but no one had kind of been guarding her like that all year. So that was like Rich was saying, that was the first time that you're like, dang, this team's good. They're well coached, solid all around. So yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, it's been, I remember actually coming down to the hotel that night before, big storm, obviously, from what you guys recall. And I remember just like, all right, I gotta learn even more about Highland right now. And I started digging into those films, a couple of films I had. I was like, oh boy, man, do we have a work cut out for us? But like I said, I'm glad we were able to compete. Going against a legend of Coach Schlebel, it was quite an honor. And like I said, I look forward to hopefully continue being invited back. So that's all we do is want to represent the community and just represent girls basketball is really what we're focusing on over here. So
now you guys, is this the first year that you've got multiple games, or have you played multiple games before?
Yeah, last year we played multiple games. We played Minster last year and Berlin Center, or Western Reserve out of Berlin Center last year. So went 1-1. Lost to Minster. Obviously very, very tough there with Ivy Wolf and so forth. But then we were able to knock off Western Reserve last year. So yeah, it's always a little bit different there. And especially this weekend. I'm so excited for this weekend. So we get New Philadelphia to start off with, and we get Waterford the next day, and two complete contrasting styles and sizes, and two great coaches. So man, we're excited. That's all our girls were actually talking about tonight was Classic in the Country after practice, and what they're going to pack, what we're going to wear for going out to eat, those type of things. So when you're middle of the years, you guys know, man, it's just sometimes going to be a grind, and this is something that gives us something to look forward to and kind of see where we are right now. Heading to the second half of the season, getting ready for tournament play.
I had Coach
and Coach too. I think you guys might have one of the most attended games this weekend. Attendance wise, you and Waterford Sunday morning starting off. I think that could be that's going to be a great start to Sunday, but that might be one of the most attended games of the weekend.
Well, we're hoping so. We know Waterford, they're passionate. They're green and white just like us. So there's going to be a whole lot of green and a whole lot of white there on Sunday. Yeah. But we're blessed to get some sponsors, to get a chartered bus or bring some fans down there, some student sections, some parents. Actually, just some other of our old timers that always come out to the game. So everybody's excited as heck. And I wish I could do that back-to-back days, but I guess I'm not like enough to get enough sponsors for 2 days. But yeah, we got the one bus there. So everybody's excited. The fans have been talking about it, and I don't know if they're going down there to watch us play basketball or eat some noodles or milk a cow. But other than that, though, everybody's ready. Our community's ready, and we're looking forward to this weekend. That's for sure.
I had Coach Cornell on last week, and he said that he was going to beat you guys by at least 15. No, he didn't say that.
I know better than that, but that's why I was just letting you go with that one, Rich. I just letting you go, my friend.
What does a weekend down here at the Classic look like for you guys as far as your agenda and kind of, walk us through, for teams some teams have never been to the Classic and some just go for one game and that's it. But for you guys, you play multiple days. What does a weekend at the Classic look like for you guys?
Oh, that's a great question, Rich. Great question. We'll depart at 2:30 on Friday. We'll get down there about 4:30 or 5, get checked in. Got dinner reservations already for our girls at 6:30. So we'll go get a nice full meal, come back, do a little bit of bonding, talk a little bit, make sure they get to bed decent time. We're going to wake up, get a good meal, make sure we're well nourished. We got a practice schedule set up at 8:00. Also, I reserved a conference room just to do some walkthrough stuff, get a dry erase board. Go out, we'll hopefully take care of some business. Go out there, play New Philadelphia at 10:20. Afterwards, we're going to watch a whole lot of basketball. We're looking forward to it. And probably we'll give the girls a break around 6 or so since they got a game, 6 or 7 the next day. Get some pizza, maybe do a little bit of swimming and get some bonding. Get up, repeat. And, come on. How can you get any better than that? How can you get any better than that? So, yeah, it's a little bit of a grind when you play those back-to-back games, but we absolutely love it. Heck, I came from the boys side of things as a boys coach. I've lived a Friday, Saturday night game, so I'm excited to kind of have a back-to-back. And good thing about back-to-backs is you can always redeem yourself or improve on yourself and keep on getting better no matter what that next game.
Yeah.
Well, and my dad's always said that the Classic in the Country is a lot like the state tournament, and that's one of the reasons that they always schedule such good teams, because to win the state tournament, you got to play Thursday, Saturday, or Friday, Saturday. And that's kind of always been the goal. So you don't normally get that throughout the year, especially to play a back-to-back. So, that's one thing my dad said a lot.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, we haven't been to that level that your dad's been at that stage. So we're still striving to get there. So I don't know quite about that. I've attended those games there, but
even districts and regionals, same thing too. But that's always the goal.
Yep, absolutely. It definitely gets us ready for a lot of things as we move forward during the season.
Coach, before you go, favorite restaurant down in Amish country, whether it's yours or your team's, or what's the one restaurant that always comes up when you guys are deciding where to eat?
I hate to admit this, and I probably shouldn't admit this.
Don't say Burger King.
I know our girls, we love bonding. We love board games, card games. So believe it or not, this is the first year we are actually heading out to eat. We're actually usually pack a lot of coolers, pack a lot of nutritious type things, a lot of fruits. We'll have a little bit of pizza one of the nights there. But yeah, I probably haven't been as exciting of a coach as some of these other coaches out there. So yeah, I owe it to them to take them out to eat. So I don't want them to come back and say milking the cow was one of their favorite experiences, man. I got to go out to eat, and I got to give them a little bit more love. So we're gonna treat them out to some dinners and some different things this weekend. But do you have any recommendations? What's your favorite, Rich?
Oh, hell yeah, I do. The farmstead.
Okay.
Where they have, I don't know, the last time I was there was during COVID, so it was a little different, but they usually have like the peanut butter spread and the jam and the like special sweet butter right there on the table with the
apple butter.
Oh, apple. Oh,
wow.
I'm telling you. And you literally eat endless amount of biscuit or buns before you even get your food, because this is like, I'm telling you, this peanut butter spread and this jam is better than any peanut butter and jelly you've ever had.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, maybe that should be a post-game meal.
yeah. I don't know about Rich. I don't know about feeding all my girls a bunch of rolls before a game, but that sounds really. Maybe I'll have to go there with my wife there.
That might be a meal after your second game before you guys head home.
Absolutely.
Well, and they have a buffet. Oh, I'm telling you.
Fried chicken, mashed potatoes, the whole deal.
And it's slipping my mind right now. We're actually going to the buffet. I can't think right now where we're going at 6:30 on Friday, but actually,
might be your Dutchman's.
Yeah, yep. That's where we're going there on Friday at 6:30. Yep. So, how about you, Brady? What's your recommendation? One place only to go get.
I would have said Der Dutchman's. Der Dutchman's or Farmstead. It's the same company and awesome Amish food, great buffet, and it's kind of the experience too of what's it like at an Amish family get together, or what do people cook around here. So yeah, that's sweet.
Well, hopefully it doesn't come back to bite me. The only way I could get a table and say my name is Coach Schlebel, and I got about 20 people coming, man. No. And I said, absolutely, Coach, come on in.
Well, the bald head might be able to trick them, but I think he's got about 8 inches on Coach Dave. So
yeah, I got about 8 inches, but he's got about 600 or 700 wins on me. So I think I think he's winning that one. That's for sure.
Coach, I appreciate your time. I again, you're always very very supportive of things I'm trying to do. Absolutely. I appreciate you coming on. I interviewed you last year. Maybe we'll have to get you back up there. But always appreciate you. You do a lot of great things for your kids and girls basketball in general. So good luck this weekend, and we'll be seeing you.
Thank you, Rich. Appreciate all you do. You do a ton for girls basketball. Thank you, Brady, for taking over the helm, having us include this year. Looking forward to continuing working with you here as we move forward. Okay, bud?
Can't wait.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All right, Coach. See you. Brady, we'll go ahead and throw out that trivia question here. Type that in there. I'll get it on the.
I'm interested to see if you know too.
Well,
all right. So
we got our next guest waiting. So once we get this up, throw it on there, and Mr. Wackerly's sitting there in his lazy boy, relaxed. He's ready to go.
About right. I can ask it now too, and maybe people put in the chat while we talk to Wackerly as well. And then kind of see what answers we got. But for some noodles, free coupons of noodles, we'll give 3 of them away. The question is, what are the top 3 all-time scoring performances at the Classic in the country?
Oh,
what 3 girls had the top scoring performances at the Classic? They're all 3 pretty well known also for what they did in college or are doing right now. So yeah,
I think I know, but
one of them was pretty recent.
Yeah, there were 2 that were in the same game, I think, or close.
They were close. One of them for sure, I know.
And then recently somebody went ahead and took it over, but we'll go ahead and get Coach Wackerly up here so he don't fall asleep on us in the lazy boy.
Getting old.
Coach, how are you doing, sir?
Doing good. How you guys doing?
Man, I am doing great.
How we doing, Coach?
Doing good.
We're going to get into a lot of classic stuff, but you guys actually got a pre-classic game Friday night. Regis Jesuits coming in from Colorado to play in the classic, and they're making a stop at at Glen Oak Friday night. Is that? I know that's not the first time you've done that. Is that something you try to do yearly or?
No, it's not yearly, but they did it a couple years ago, and then they called me again. I said, yeah, we'll set it up, and so we're gonna play before the boys, and then Brady and them guys got him in the classic.
Yeah, I was talking to their coach today. They were pumped to come play y'all.
Oh yeah, they can't wait to come. They love coming up here.
Do they have a kid that can dunk again this year?
No, but they had that one though.
It was pretty impressive.
Oh yeah.
Paul, you were one of the guys, as far as I know, you were one of the guys that kind of got the ball rolling in the classic. You know, can you take us back to that year? So 19 years ago would have been 2003.
Mm-hmm.
Was that the first year, if my math is right?
It's around there,
yeah. You know, take us back to when that, you know, the ball started getting rolling. Give us a little intel.
You know, at the time, you know, Pickerton had some stuff going on, and then Brady's dad, Dave, and I would always be in that every year. We'd get invited, and we'd go down there, and then Tom Jenkins and John Fiesel at the time was doing stuff, and then they were going, and Tom kind of like pulled Dave and I aside actually there, and we were talking in the hallway a little bit about maybe trying to do something, you know. We literally, after this season, this early spring, Dave and I went down to Tom's house. We spent a whole weekend down there. And, you know, Tom was doing the cooking and we were doing all the eating. And, you know, and then listen to all Tom's stories. You know, you go through that whole weekend. You walk out of Tom's house for a weekend, it ruins you. Right. You know, so, yeah. But, yeah. So we had an idea just, you know, how we wanted to do it. And literally it started to be a boys and girl thing. The very first year, I hosted Hoovers. We were up at Hoover with boys, and then we had the girls down at the Classic, and we tried to do boys like Dayton Dunbar. Both their teams came. We tried to do some teams like that, and they were allowed to go from down there to watch the boys and get in free, or go from Hoover down there for the girls' teams were allowed to go down and watch. I mean, the boys were allowed to go watch the girls. Mm-hmm. And our coach at the time got involved in it, but then he didn't like it. He seen some money being made, whatever, and he kicked us out basically and just took over himself because he was kind of greedy. And so then we just stayed with. It was supposed to go every other year. Girls were going to be at Hoover, and the boys were coming down to Berlin. And it would have been a pretty cool thing if we could have kept it going like that. But it didn't go that way, and the girls thing took off, and you know, and Dave and them guys really, I was in it the first couple of years doing some things, but Dave and Tom really are the ones that really got it going. I mean, I know they always give me credit a little bit, mention my name sometimes, but I think that's just to be nice to me because they don't want me getting pissed off at them or something. I don't know.
Now, did you envision the Classic turning into what it is now? We got 25 games in 3 days.
You know, we thought it could be good. I didn't think it'd get to the point where it's like now. No, I didn't think that at all. But you know, our goal was always to get teams in that maybe had college players or future prospects. You know, talk to Division I, see who they're kind of recruiting, and then kind of helped us in the beginning. Tom had a lot of that stuff going on, and that's who we started inviting, that kind of stuff. And then it got the college coaches coming, you know, and then. But them guys really did a good job. But, you know, everybody down there is Brady. You know, there's a lot more people down there than just even Dave. I mean, there's a lot of people that volunteer and helped. I mean, I know Scott Callahan for a long time. He was very involved in helping out and doing things. So there were some really good coaches that we got to know real well over the years. But that's how I got to know Dave so well. I mean, I love Dave. You know, I mean, we've known each other for such a long time. And, you know, I think he wants to be the coach so he can laugh at me. But, you know, other than that, I mean, we got something going.
You guys are a team that's relatively close. You know, I'm up in Canton too, so it's roughly an hour, give or take, to get down there. Do you guys still stay down there to enhance the experience?
No, we don't. We come back. We stayed one time. We normally just come back. We used to play 2 games, and then we went down to 1. And so, no, we always just come back. But, you know, if we stay or we try to eat, we usually go to the Deer Dutchman. But if we're playing on a Sunday, obviously you're not eating. I mean, you're going back. You
Can't
know,
find
you got,
anywhere to eat on a Sunday.
right. You got to go to the concession stand. Best place going on Sunday down there. You know,
True.
Might be the
right.
best place going
Everybody
on
knows
any
that.
day.
You know,
Coach, do you know how many games that you roughly have coached in the Classic since 2003?
no, I don't. I don't even know my own record, Rich. How am I going to know that? No,
Well,
I don't
remind
know.
you've only lost one.
I mean, you know, I had some losses recently, I'd say, but in the beginning, of course, we had some really good Hoover teams at the time too. But you know, we went about 4 or 5 years of winning a lot of games. I know that.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact,
What's your most memorable Classic game?
probably, you know, the time we played Toledo. I've got to think who they were now. Central Catholic. We played one day, and then we had to play the next day, and we played against Dayton Chaminade, and they were both ranked 1 and 2 in their divisions. And I think at the time we might have been ranked, I don't know, maybe 13th or something. I can't remember now.
Mm-hmm.
But we ended up beating them both pretty good. I mean, back to back. And it was a really big moment. But we had a great year. We ended up going to state that year, but we had a great year that year. But, you know, we knew when we did that, we kind of walked out saying, because I always think we stink, you know, and I'm thinking, well, maybe we were a little better than I thought. I don't know, you know, but we just didn't beat them. We beat them pretty good. So that was probably our best year. It was that year. But we've had some really good games down there, you know. One of the best girls I saw play down there, I think that really did, I mean, was special was Barbara Turner. She had a game that she was going, and then she had a heck of a game in one game. And I forget who she was playing against. She was playing against another girl. They were both like top ranked kids, and Tom had them matched up, and they were guarding each other. And it was a lot of fun to watch. It's one of my favorite ones, not one of my teams, but to watch a game. That game, I remember these two girls just going back and forth. I mean, it was a phenomenal game.
Yeah. The game I remember that went back and forth was Cahill and Naomi Davenport.
Yeah.
They both scored over 30 points. That game was off the
chart. I remember that too. Yeah.
Now you obviously had some years where you were coaching boys, so you weren't coaching at the Classic. Were you still maybe coming down to check it out?
Yeah, I did. I actually came down. Tom was always real good to me, and he took care of me, you know. But yeah, actually, my wife and I would go down sometimes, and I'd kind of check a couple teams out. Then if Hoover was playing, I used to go watch it, you know, Abby and them, you know, she played for me and that. So we would kind of go down and watch them play a little bit because we knew some of them kids back then at that time. A lot of those kids I coached, so I was still connected with some of them. So we enjoyed that. But I used to go down. I tried to watch Dave when I wasn't coaching girls. I'd go down. I always go watch Highland on one of their better games that, you know, they're going to have that. And we'd always go watch that night game or something. But yeah. I stayed in touch with them a little bit. And then if Callahan was playing a little bit, I'd go. Some of them older coaches I knew, you know, I'd go see some of my friends coach.
Now, you guys pulled the finale one year, if I remember correctly, and you played Highland, right?
We did play Highland.
Monday night game.
Yeah.
You know, there's probably not too many games where you're going to have a crowd like the one at the finale of a Classic in the country. What was that like to play in that environment with? I mean, you won the game, and if I remember correctly, it wasn't really ever that close. I mean, you guys had kind of controlled the game by 8 to 12 points the whole time.
Yeah, we played probably our best game of the year that game.
Of course.
You know, I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I did it against Dave. I enjoyed
it. What was that like, just to play in that kind of environment down on their home court to finish the Classic with?
Well, you know, I always used to say, I always told Tom, I'm not playing Highland at Highland. I always tell him that all the time. And then I don't know how he got me to do it. And next thing I know, I was playing like a week before he switched something on me. I don't know how it even happened, honestly. But I think the thing was set up because he loved doing that to me, right? And don't you know he got me? And I walked into the first guy and said, you know this was planned and you just didn't tell me. He got the biggest kick out of that. He laughed so hard. Oh, he got the big. I'll never forget it. God rest his soul. That guy, you know.
I think you hit mute, Paul.
What?
There you go. You're back. You hit mute for a second, so we lost you.
Oh,
Now you
yeah,
lost
Tom
your
was a
train
great
of
guy.
thought. Hopefully one day maybe I might be able to pull the bait and switch on you and get you to play somebody you don't want to play last second.
Well, Rich, you're not in Tom's category, so you got a lot to learn yet.
That's very true. I actually wore this shirt to Tom.
Tom's tricky. You got to watch him, you know. And Tom
This
was
is my Tom Jenkins shirt. I wore it to his funeral. I guess it felt like it might have been fitting. I don't think I'll be wearing it in the gym this weekend because I'm not a button shirt guy. But Paul, hey, good luck this week. I know you got Regis on Friday, and then what you guys play on Sunday or Monday?
Yes, Sunday we have Lakota West.
Okay. Well, we'll definitely see you down there. So best of luck, and I appreciate your time.
Yeah, hey Brady, thanks for everything you've done up to this point too, and helping out. Yeah, you've been great working.
Looking forward to it. Can't wait.
Yeah, I can't wait to see you guys again. Tell Dad, everybody I said hi, and I'll talk to you, Rich.
Yeah, tell Jean I said hi. I like her more than you.
I will tell her. Absolutely.
All right, we'll see you, Paul.
All right, later on.
Bye. It's kind of cool to talk to one of the guys that were there when it first started. I mean, I never knew that there was boys and girls both. At least that's what they tried to get rolling. So that's something I just learned.
I had forgotten that. I feel like I might have. I do remember that though, because I think Highland was playing up there, and they kind of tried to get that going. But it's just honestly something about the community and the atmosphere that is created there that makes it hard to replicate anywhere else. You can't.
Yeah, it's just not that easy. I mean, even though like I'm just gonna use Hoover as an example because that's where they tried to get the boys stuff started. Like, even though North Canton is, I mean, we're talking many times bigger than Berlin. I don't know if you can find that many people in the community that are willing to donate their time. Like, people are more busy. They got other things going on. There's a lot of things that go into it, but you're right. Like that's what makes the Berlin community even more special, that so many people are willing to donate their time like that.
And too, the fact that the guys and girls basketball teams at Highland have always been pretty good. Our community loves people that work hard. They've always supported the baseball teams, had a lot of success, golf. When teams have success in our community gets behind them. And so they got to see good basketball played all year. That they grew a liking to girls basketball at Highland because of the success that was had. And so when something like this came along, it would have been hard to do it if Highland girls weren't good. I feel like it wouldn't have been able to grow the way it did.
Yeah, for sure. Brady, go ahead and type that trivia question out so we can keep it on the screen.
I got it.
Anybody who wasn't listening when you said it can see it. But also let's talk a little bit more.
We could too talk about a little. You could give your guess, and then maybe we tweet it out after the show from like the classic page, tag you in it, and see if anyone can guess. Unless we get them in here. But I actually have another fact, a cool fact I had wrote down. So this was a while ago, but the most attended classic game ever. What do you think that would have been? Most attended classic game ever.
Oh man. Was it can I get a hint? Is it a Highland
it would have been. No, it wasn't a Highland game. Man, the best player went on to play at Ashland, I believe, if I got that right.
I'm gonna say West Holmes and I can't remember any of their opponents, but I'm just gonna say West Holmes and Hoover.
So it was Riverview
Oh,
Dor-
Gary. The
Yep.
Dohertys.
Riverview against Afrocentric.
Oh, wow.
It was the year that Riverview won the state championship, and Afrocentric was tough. Unbelievable game. Like literally, I kid you not, every single seat in the recenter was packed. I remember standing and sitting along the baselines, and then in the recenter behind the benches, they had to bring out 2 rows all the way down of just folding chairs, all completely packed. I think it's actually the Twitter header on Classic, so you can go check that out there. But yeah, that was I remember close game, absolutely packed.
That honestly, that blows my mind because generally an Afrocentric team isn't bringing many fans. Clearly, the majority of those fans were Riverview, and then people who wanted to.
Yeah, well, it was Riverview, and then they played, I believe, right before the Highland game. So
Okay.
it was electric. But you were on the right track though for most rebounds by a player at the Classic. That was Lynnae Snyder against Afrocentric. I think she had 24.
Wow. Yeah, that's impressive. We're gonna bring on our last guest. There's still some things I want to get to after we have Deanna on. Obviously, the most important issue about the Classic, why we're there, and what we're celebrating. We're gonna get into that, but we'll pull Danny up here as our third coach who has Classic experience with Magnificat. Danny, how's it going, sir?
Hey, Rich. Hey, Brady. How you guys doing?
Good.
You kind of look like an angel there with that.
I got the light right
over your head.
I can shift around here for you.
I mean, it wasn't a bad thing.
All right.
Coach, how many years now? You guys you're coming down this weekend to play in the Classic. I knew your opponent, but I forget who it was. Can you just remind me?
Yeah, we're playing Eastern Brown.
Eastern Brown, that's right. Team I've never seen, but I've heard that they got some nice players, so I'm definitely excited to see that game.
Okay.
What are some of your favorite memories of games? Like, I know you haven't been coaching it like Wackerly has since 2003, but you've definitely had multiple games down there.
Yeah.
What was your favorite memory as a coach?
Honestly, it was our first year, and we were in Magnificat was in the couple years before I got the job. So they had played in it, I think, 2 or 3 times before I was hired. And I think, Rich, you remember the first year that I was at Mags, it was just, like a total rebuilding year. And we were really struggling. And at the time, I think our record was 1-14 or 1-15. And we came walking in and everyone was wondering, why is this team playing in the Classic? And we weren't bad. We just had a really tough schedule and lost a lot of games. But it was my second win as a head coach. The first time I coached in the Classic, we beat Worcester. We were down 10 in the fourth quarter and made a great comeback and ended up winning the game. So that was definitely fun. It was definitely fun for our kids to win in that atmosphere. And, when you looked back at the end of the season after it all ended, that was definitely one of the memories the girls always brought up. So that'll always stick with me for sure.
I think I remember that game. Was that the year they had Nye Brown?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Boy, that kid was athletic as all get out. Now, your AD, Paul Barlow, obviously has a ton of Classic experience. Did he give you any by the way, a guy that I really, really like, I've never done anything to help that guy. He's way more involved with girls basketball than I've ever been. And he's still very respectful to me and always says hi. I mean, I appreciate that guy, and he don't owe me anything, but he still treats me with a ton of respect. Did he give you any advice or tips or anything on your first Classic experience?
Well, he lined us up at the Carlisle Inn in Walnut Creek. And he said, and I'll say for sure, it's the best night of sleep that I get every single year when we go down and get to stay in that hotel. And I heard you guys, when I was in the waiting room, talking about food down there on a Sunday and the only place being the concession stand. I don't know if Paul's got an inside with a certain pizza place, I think is in Dover or Sugar Creek, but somehow we get a really good meal from a certain pizza place. I can't even think of the name, I'd tell you, but they're
My
open.
guess is it's Park Street.
It is. Yeah, that's what it
Park
is.
Street
Yeah.
is the bomb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good pizza. So he knew all the ins and outs of how to navigate, issues on a Sunday and where to stay and, the best times to do shoot arounds and, what time to get your kids there and, make sure you grab chicken and noodles, not once, but twice.
Or in my
and
case,
a fry pie.
And a fry pies for sure. Yeah.
Now you're a basketball junkie. You have been as long as I can remember. So I'm sure that you've been down there even before you were coaching. What are some players that you remember or games or even just memories that even before you were down there as a coach that you still remember?
I think it's just so unique, the entire atmosphere and everything that they recognize, game in and game out, the entire weekend, from Coach Reese to Martin Luther King. And honestly, my memory is we played before Highland twice. And just to see how great that community is and how friendly that community is and the support that they show, to not only their home team, but then, you walk off as a coach after the game and a lot of them talk to you and, praise your team and are just good, not only good people, but huge basketball fans.
Mm-hmm. Now, we haven't gotten much into actual information on some of these coaches' squads, but I want to ask you, because we talked several weeks ago on this very show, you got a young squad. How's things going for you guys heading into the Classic as far as some of those young kids growing up a little bit?
Good. They continue to grow every day. We're playing 3 freshmen a lot. We're playing a couple sophomores a lot. We're playing, a couple juniors a lot, and we have a bunch of seniors. So it's definitely an interesting mix at times. But for the most part, the kids all get along. They're, for the most part, moving and sharing the ball. And me, that's kind of what we try and do year in and year out, no matter what style we're playing. But they're excited. The thing about if you ask about the freshmen specifically, they don't ever seem to get like way in over their head. Maybe a couple moments here or there, but nothing big. And we have 2 sophomores that they played on the JV team last year, so it was their first varsity experience as well. And they're kind of the same way. I mean, they're a fun group. They're a good group of kids. They got a good group of older girls leading them, so they're pretty much fun every single day, and day in and day out.
I was funny story here. It wasn't real funny at the time, and you got a text from me, and you probably were like, "What the heck is this text about?" Around Christmas and New Year's, I had COVID, so I was stuck in the house, and it was the day of your St. Joe's game.
I heard this, yeah.
I tried to get online to watch the game. I go to your YouTube page, and it kept like I was watching an episode and it was done, so it would go to the next video. Oh. And I kept going back to the page, and I thought, I kept looking up. I was watching the Shelby game at the same time, and every time I look up for an hour and a half, I felt like the same JV game was on, and I saw the varsity team sitting up in the corner. I'm like, it must be overtime or something because I didn't have the sound on.
Right.
And I'm like, can we please just get this game? And I remember I texted you, and I'm like, what is going on? I just want to watch a varsity game. You didn't respond because you were coaching, obviously.
Right.
And then I finally get a varsity game on there, and I'm like, oh, great. The game's about to start. It's like 9:00. And I look up, and I'm watching, and I see Charlotte Adler on the TV. And I'm like, oh, my goodness. This ain't even the game. It was the Joe's game from last year.
Yeah.
I was so frustrated.
You don't know how many people did that. People were texting me like, hey, great win. You kicked their butt. You ran them off the floor. And I'm like, well, we won by 3 right at the end. It wasn't a butt kicking, to say the least. And then I'm like, man, they had to be watching last year's game.
Well, then I guess I don't feel so bad. I don't know what.
Yeah, it wasn't just you. There was a few people. I don't know what the deal was with that. But we had 950 views for the game.
Maybe it's like on the Apple TV is what I was trying to watch it on. Maybe the Apple TV was just causing problems. I don't know, but I never did get to watch a single second of that game. And you were probably thinking, why did he text me that? And you didn't respond, so you probably were really thinking, what is he even talking about?
It was a good one. I'll send it to you if you care to watch it.
Actually, Brian Bruce sent it to me. I never got around to watching it, but I still may.
All right.
Now, last question. How do you approach your team? You know, they obviously know that this is a big game in a great environment. What do you say to the team to try to keep everybody level and don't so they don't get too worked up as the coach?
I say what we talk about every single day, and every day we talk about getting a little bit better every day. And, we approach every drill the same way, get better in this drill. And if you have a bad drill, you put it behind you and you move on to the next one and try and get better. So again, this game, it is a big game. It's a great experience for our girls. But we take all of these games the same way. I mean, it's another step in the road, another really good opportunity for us to get better. For maybe our program to get a little bit more recognition. But just another game for us to get more experience, have some fun, and hopefully get better by the end of the season.
Coach, I appreciate you filling in. And obviously I'm excited to see your squad this weekend and obviously catch some basketball with you. So safe travels this weekend. I'm guessing you probably have a game sometime this week before you even get down there. So keep those kids focused, and we'll see you in a couple of days.
Rich, thanks for having me on. Brady, thanks for having us again. We're really excited and looking forward to seeing your dad and all the Highland faithful this weekend.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be fun. Looking forward to it.
Great. Thanks, guys.
Brandon Stewart said on Twitter that you should have your own segment on the podcast. Maybe we'll start thinking about that.
I'm not that good. Thanks, Brandon. But yeah.
All right, Coach. We'll see you in a couple days.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Yep. Bye. Well, 3 great coaches. We get to see all of them again this weekend, and we got it from 3 different perspectives. But Brady, let's move to the most important part here. Obviously, this event is placed on Martin Luther King weekend, and that's for obvious reasons. Just kind of go over, as someone who is in charge of a lot of stuff, what do you want the people to understand about this weekend and why it's on this weekend, and what do you guys do throughout the weekend to convey those messages?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, and it all started honoring 2 incredible people. I don't think most people know, but Tom used to be a big civil rights attorney, fighting for, civil rights. And so that's always something that was super important to him and that he wanted to make sure was being enlightened here. And then obviously the greatest coach at Highland ever, Perry Reese Jr., my dad's one of his best friends, and then my middle namesake is Reese because of it. And so it really, really started out honoring 2 incredible people that, it was all about bringing people together. And I think that's really what this event's about, is creating some awesome atmospheres, bringing people together that don't normally come together, don't normally get a chance to. And then now this year, we're obviously honoring Tom as well for the awesome man that he was, for starting this event, for bringing everyone here. This event doesn't happen without Tom. I kind of got a firsthand to see who Tom was the last couple of years. And, just seeing the people around the state that love Tom, that call Tom Uncle Tom. Literally, if you grew up in girls basketball in Ohio, you know him as Uncle Tom. That's how I know him. And what he brought to Ohio and girls basketball is truly something remarkable, and that you don't see in a lot of people. So we're excited to honor him. Definitely. He's actually going to be the front cover of the program too. So okay. That's going to be special.
And I'm assuming in the past, every game they've played a audio clip of Martin Luther King. I'm sure that's something that we're going to still see. And again, the basketball's great, the food's great, but there's certainly a message of racial equality and treating people right, regardless of the color of their skin. And a lot of people didn't get to know Perry Reese. Obviously, he passed on many years ago. So a lot of people, the only thing they know about Perry is what comes out, during the event. And I know there was an old Sports Illustrated article that you guys tweeted a couple of days ago. This event kind of is what carries on his legacy, and it's got to be a heck of a legacy, considering you're named after him. I know Jason Mishler's daughter is named Perrin, Perryn, after Perry. So I mean, just knowing those little things, like the guy's legacy had to be outstanding. So that's obviously something that you guys try to portray as well.
And too, a lot of the early volunteers that were around all weekend and would come back every year, those were Perry's best friends. You had Peg Brand, Shelly Miller, Alan Miller, like people like that were eager to carry on the legacy and show off kind of what our community has been all about. So that's kind of where it began. The people that were closest to him were the people that were helping volunteer and get volunteers and create such a cool event. And now that legacy gets to carry on.
Now, I haven't checked through Twitter and whatnot, so we haven't got an answer on the trivia.
We'll tweet it out and see what people think, and then we'll give it to the first three. But I'm sure the most recent one. I'm sure you know the top one.
My top one is JC Selton, right?
Yep. Yeah.
It was 3-4 years ago.
It was 2018. She had 37. So I mean, we'll still take that as an answer on Twitter then, even though we gave it out. But so she actually played that game. Do you know who they played?
They played. I do know this. They played. Man, I'm gonna say Wadsworth.
So
I'm not 100% confident in that.
So she actually plays at South Carolina now. It was Toledo Rogers and Zia Cook.
Okay. It's kind of crazy to think of all the names that have gone through. And I say this all the time. My top memory amongst all of them was when Kelsey Mitchell was a freshman and played, and she scored like 32 or 33.
I think I have it written down. Yeah. She was I think she was like 5th on the list when I was looking at it.
Unbelievable. And I'll never forget, I was sitting in the front row. This is when I was still coaching high school. So I was there as an observer. She went baseline, did a spin move into a jump stop, into an up and under, and just changed direction like 3 times. And the referee that was on the opposite side of the floor right in front of me literally just turned his head to the fans and was like, and I'm like, I've never seen a referee respond like that to a great play. It was just, I'll never forget it.
That's awesome. Another one, she didn't make the top 3, but she has 3 of the top 15 all time is Dee Bequelgia from Solon. Plays at DePaul now, but she had 3 of the top 15 as well.
I was gonna say Dee. As soon as you said 3 of the top 15, I was gonna throw that name out because I remember multiple games. I actually had her on the podcast here 2 or 3 weeks ago, and we talked a little bit about the Classic and kind of like Margaretta made a name for themselves. Dee kind of made a name for herself down there because she may have played the most games of anybody that's not a Highland Hawk.
She might have played 8.
She definitely played 8. And that's just not easy to do. I mean, I know some teams get to play 2 games every year, but whether there's injuries, I know a couple years ago there was some suspensions and some top name players missed a game. So it's not easy to play 8 games at the Classic, and she definitely got it done. But there was some buzzer beaters down there. Controy, also from Solon, hit a buzzer beater one year.
There's been some crazy overtime games, like multiple overtimes.
Yeah,
as well.
Fairmont
And
had a big game once on there. That last shot.
I think too, as kind of like being on this end of things now and kind of coordinating the event, we're doing 25 games this year, an hour 20 time slots. So you hope for really good games, but you also like don't really want to see a 3 overtime game and get everything behind. But I mean, all serious now, it's going to be sweet. I'm excited.
I mean, you guys have to be expecting to get behind schedule. And I don't mean that like in a bad way. Like there's no way that an hour and 20 minutes can keep up every single game. Like it's just not going to happen.
I think last year we were close to that. But I mean, 10-minute warm up. So, and that's one thing too, is people want to come there. And yes, we've obviously got the great entertainment team and that kind of fills the gaps that have always been there in between games. But people come there to watch basketball, watch good basketball. So, and that's what they get to see. We don't have, hour and a half in between games, not clearing out the gym. So
Clyde Fish said right here, Bequelgia had that record broken by 10 plus her senior year had she not stopped trying to score during the last 10 minutes of the game. You might be right. They were probably blowing somebody out and she just, Dee's obviously not a selfish player whatsoever. So she probably did start taking it easy and getting her teammates involved. But
that's funny. I do remember that though. She had one game that kind of put them on the map in Ohio. And, obviously being around girls basketball, we knew they were good when they were good. But, when they showed up to the Classic and like a lot of other teams, it kind of put them on the map in Ohio.
And I like to bring up some Highland games. I know it probably makes me sound like a homer, but the last couple of years, Highland has played nationally ranked teams. And last year they beat the team from Vegas.
And they were like number 8, 6 in the country, I think.
Yeah, they were highly ranked. And even the year before, when all those kids were juniors, they played the Winston-Salem team that was highly ranked and lost by.
Should have won that game too.
I mean, those are the type of games that really kind of blow people away. Like, there's no way this Highland team should be hanging around with them, but they are. And then in some cases,
the 1 year, I think Morgan and Kennedy were. I don't think it was their senior year, but they played Afrocentric at the Classic, and Afrocentric was good, like unstoppable, good, and. It was their pressure, their like diamond press, 2-2-1 press or whatever that was killing everyone. And then they played Highland and Morgan McMillan just threw it deep every time past the pressure and they ended up beating them. That was actually, I saw in the record book, most free throws ever shot in a game. And it was like 45 total. I think Highland shot 33 free throws that game.
And if I remember correctly, that was the first loss Afrocentric had against Ohio team in at least a year. I think it was more than a year, but that was, like I said, the first time that Ohio team beat them in quite some time. So there's always some great storylines. I know I'm excited to create some more. I know you are. You put a lot of time into this, and all we want is some great basketball. That's for sure.
Yeah, it'll be exciting. Looking forward to it. 25 games, so that's the first time ever. Unbelievable entertainment team.
Yeah.
Volunteers are all ready to go, so it's going to be a good weekend. As long as the snow holds off, it might be one of the best atmospheres we've ever seen.
There's no doubt. I mean, people are ready. The last several years, things have kind of been twisted and whatnot. As early as the night before and sometimes during it, and teams couldn't show up because of the weather. And I mean, I think people are definitely ready to have a normal Classic weekend where things aren't interrupted by people pulling out or the weather. I want to go on record to say I was the last person to win the pick'em technically. because the last
Yep,
2
we got
years,
that back this year. So I know I made all the entertainment team join it too. So they're all in with their picks, Carly and Michaela Waterman. So yeah, that'll be exciting.
the last year that there was no interruptions or games changed or anything was the year I won. So technically, someone can't dethrone me
The
on
reigning
games
champ.
switched up, right?
Yeah. Well, I don't think they did it the last 2 years or so because of that.
Yeah.
So
It
you
got
might be
canceled.
the reigning champ.
Well, there's no might about it. I'm claiming it.
Are you going to give out all your picks ahead of time?
Sure. I mean,
Might as well.
I'm used to upsetting people. I might as well, right? I do have a post. I mean, I'm going to be very active with media, and I'm going to do interviews to get on the website. And we got someone here. Steve Connor says he's looking forward to bringing the middle school team back out this year. I think Steve might be from Dover or Philly.
Mm-hmm.
Please forgive
That's
me.
another thing too. Any teams that aren't playing middle school, elementary, high school teams that want to come watch, if you email Seeger, the Highland AD, I think it's like $75 to bring the whole team out. So definitely something to do.
That's a heck of a deal when you can bring the whole team. Just real quick before I let you out, that sounds bad. Before, I'm sure you got better things to do tonight. But how much does it cost to get in? I mean, is it all cash? Just some information for people that are going to be showing up at the door.
So we upped the games this year up to 25. So the day pass is 15 this year, 40 for the weekend, and then I know we were working on getting like where you can use cards and stuff to pay.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't gotten confirmation on that, but I know they were working on that with like the local bank to be able to do that. So hopefully should be able to pay with card. I'm not 100% sure. But if not, there's going to be an ATM there too. First games start at 9, Saturday, Monday, and Sunday it's at noon. So definitely some sweet games. That first game Sunday is gonna get things rocking and rolling for sure.
I was gonna say there's teams from a wide variety. I mean, you got teams from Canada, Colorado, Indiana, and then you got teams from Cincinnati, Columbus. All over Ohio, and then even really local teams like Philly, Tuslaw, obviously Highland, Federal League teams coming down, Jackson, Hoover, Glen Oak,
Tri-Village.
Yeah, I mean, there's teams from all over.
Sheridan. Yeah. Sheridan plays Highland in the finale too.
Yeah, I mean, for $15 a day or $40 for the 3 days. I mean, that's a steal. These parents are used to paying $50 for a weekend pass at an AAU tournament.
Literally.
And all they're doing is watching their own kids play games. So
and it's cool too. So all the money all gets funneled back into the Highland Athletic Department. It's for being able to put on events like this, being able to feed the team. It's for girls and guys basketball as well. So it's definitely sweet that it's going back into the community and the teams there.
So quick checklist on the food. We're going to get noodles.
Yep.
One of my underrated favorites are the cheese or the Swiss and trail.
Oh yeah, trail and Swiss. That's the go-to. Fry pies.
Fry pies.
I believe. So Sundays for sure, I believe, but usually in the mornings they've got the big glazed donuts out there as well. I don't know. I haven't been in communication with the concessions, obviously, but
bring that up because I remember taking a picture with you one year with the huge donut that is the size of a plate.
Yeah.
Obviously, a lot.
That's my favorite thing from the concession stand.
The donut.
Yeah.
I mean,
I always had to have one of those when I was a kid.
For sure, I'm partial to the trail and Swiss. Because that's just not something you can get anywhere, and even when you can, like I can go to Fresh whatever the grocery stores up here and get some trail maybe, but it's ridiculously priced because you just
it's
can't.
Not
get
from Trail, Ohio. So
No.
it can't be the same.
So yeah, all the things everybody's always looking forward to, all going to be there, and then even several more games than they're used to. So, Brady, I appreciate your time, man. I know it's got to be a busy time for you getting ready for everything, and safe travels back home here on Thursday. We'll see you Saturday morning, buddy.
Absolutely. So yeah, the classic Twitter page, go follow there, and the Instagram. That's where if there are any changes or any updates, that's where that stuff will be. I believe we'll have like game updates as well. I know you will too. But yeah, go follow those out. Check that. We'll post the trivia there too. The first three to get it right. So we obviously gave out one already, but first three will give you some free noodles for the weekend too.
I have a feeling if people watched, I may have said at least one of those other names, maybe both of them. Without,
yep. There's actually a three-way tie for second, so I'm going to count four of them.
Okay.
Total, and you definitely said another one earlier, I think.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate you. Thank you. A lot of good stuff tonight, and we'll definitely be pumped up for this weekend.
Sounds good, Rich. Yep.
Saturday, so.
Yeah.
There's nothing like spending my birthday at the Classic.
That's awesome. Happy birthday. Looking forward to seeing you.
I get to do it.
That's sweet.
All right, man. We'll talk to you Saturday.
Yep. See ya.
All right. See you, Brady. All right. We're going to get into Player of the Week. I was not able to get the Player of the Week on today. We will get it on sometime. So I'm going to get to that last. I meant to mention some kids from last week. Last week's Player of the Week was Callie Gregory. We had her dad on, and we talked a little bit about her. But there were some other kids that were really deserving that I meant to mention, and I didn't get to. So I'm going to do that now. Serenity Johnson from Lake. Last week, Lake had 3 games. She averaged 20 points and 9 rebounds. Her biggest game was a 27-point, 12-rebound game. And she was really close to being Player of the Week. Lake won 2 out of those 3 games, which was big for them. At the time, they had a 1-7 record. And she kind of helped Lake Blue Streaks get moving. Now I think they have 4 wins, maybe 5. So she was really instrumental for them last week, got them moving. I really meant to mention her, never got around to it. Another kid who played really well and was in the running for Player of the Week last week and also this week, but didn't get it either week. Ayla Miller from Highland. She's really starting to play well. In 2 games last week, or 2 weeks ago now, it would be, she had 19 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists, and then also 19 points, 8 rebounds, and 3 assists. So that week, she had 2 19-point games and averaged 9 rebounds. But then even last week, she had a pair of 22-point games with 11 and 8 rebounds and a total of 6 assists. So over her last 4 games, over the last 2 weeks, she's averaging 20.5 points and 9 rebounds. So she's really worth mentioning. Again, really close to getting up there as a Player of the Week. The kid that just fell short this week, Lynnae Riley from Hoban. She had an outstanding week, and any other week she would be the Player of the Week, except this week we had a exceptional performer. So Lynnae in 2 games, Hoban beat Solon and Olentangy Liberty. And in those 2 games, she combined for 66 points, 15 rebounds, and 6 blocks against 2 Division I opponents. Hoban's still undefeated. They will also be in the Classic this weekend. But that's just outstanding. With 33, she averaged 33 points and 7.5 rebounds and 3 blocks in 2 games. But the reason she didn't get Player of the Week was because an outstanding performer down at Purcell Marion, Dariana Alexander, had just an unbelievable week. She had a 39-point game and a triple-double in the same week. So she earned our Player of the Week this week. The 39-point game, she also had 13 rebounds and 5 steals. In her she had a 49-point game. So she had a game with 49 points, 15 rebounds. She averaged 39 points for the week. And her triple-double was a 39-point, 10-rebound, 10-steal game for Purcell Marion, who is 11-1, I believe. I think they played the night and won, so maybe 12-1. We will get her on the show here in the next couple weeks, but since they played tonight, it was just too hard to get her on. But again, Dee Alexander plays AAU with the West Virginia Thunder and is a freshman. This kid is a freshman at Purcell Marion. Again, averaged 39 points, 13 rebounds, and 5 steals last week in 3 games, which included a 49-point, 15-rebound game, and then a 39-point, 10-rebound, 10-steal triple-double. I'm really excited to see this kid play. I hear she's one of the best players in the country, if not the best player. So I'm really excited to get her on the show here. Maybe not next weekend because we're going to cover some post-classic stuff, but we're definitely going to get her on the show here soon. We've had our coach Jamar Mosley a couple weeks ago, so we'll get her on the show here soon. And but congratulations to Dee Alexander for Player of the Week. I'm excited to see everybody at the Classic this week. If you see me, say hi. Please let me know who you are. I meet a lot of people in real life that I don't know who they are. They know me from Twitter, but I wouldn't be able to pick them out of a crowd. So please, if you see me, say hi. Again, try to indicate who you are a little bit so I don't have to struggle with that and I can focus on the conversation. But again, hope everybody had a good New Year. I spent mine at home with COVID, which is fine. I wasn't sick. I was barely sick, so I was fine. We'll see everybody this weekend and do something good for somebody. Treat people well. And please, don't be fake.